Hello, this is Pixie Mikey coming to you from Volcano Bay, Universal Orlando's new water resort park. I'm starting at the beginning of the park. The view of the volcano, that is the center of the park. Passing the concierge, that is the closest to the entrance where you would get your premium seating, your cabana rentals, and your towel rentals in case you did not bring your own. Bring your own from your hotels. Great tip. They're going through Tuku Traders. You can get some hats, some sunscreen, very necessary. There are rider sandals. However, you cannot ride the water slides with the rider sandals, just to be aware. The main beach in front of the volcano is the largest. You have a lot of seating there. Probably enough seating for 4,000 to 5,000 people. It's got a great view of the mountain, of the volcano, and of the wave pool. Around the outsides of the park, you'll find the cabanas, which we're coming up onto now. The two-story ones first. They can rent either floor or total. The landscaping is all very new. The palm trees are braced because they haven't rooted in yet. The walkways have little emitters that we're coming up to on the right here that will spray the concrete to keep that wet to keep them from getting too hot when it is in the summertime. However, they are not completely installed yet. There are a lot of places without them. Today is Friday, June 9th, and I just checked with security. They did hit capacity earlier today. It was the first nice day, hit 90 and it was sunny, so the park was packed. Then when it does hit capacity, no one is allowed in, unfortunately. Two-story cabanas come with TVs, food service, and ride service. You can actually reserve your ride times right there with your Tapu Tapu. Across the wave pool, you can see Cabana Bay. Great resort, especially if you want to come to the water park more than once. It's actually just a walk from there, and you have the two new towers overlooking the park, which is, in my opinion, one of the best values if you're going to splurge on any amusement park. This is the splashdown area for two of the large plunge slides that go through the mountain. I myself did not go on those. However, oh no and oh yeah are the two drop slides that will go drop you into the pool 4 or 6 feet. This one here has some of the longest times for one of the shortest rides because it drops you out into a 10-foot pool. And they have had the most saves there, the most lifeguards interaction because people aren't as good as swimmers as they think. We'll see if we can get a view of people flying out of here. What I recommend if you're coming to Volcano Bay is find a side complex that you think your party is most interested in and get seating there. That way you are centrally located and you don't have to follow the kids around or the adults around. Everybody can just have a central meeting spot. Half the time we saw that the drop slides were only running one drop, because I'm not sure if it was because they didn't have enough trained staff available or there wasn't just enough demand. There are lots of little food places all around, and there are several big restaurants and bars. Here we are looking at the backside of the mountain. Still has a fairly substantial line. The largest of the drop slides actually goes through the wave pool. Speaking of waves, here we are on the crazy lazy river, and it actually has its own wave generators stationed 2 or 3 times throughout the ride. It's much more than a lazy river. It's actually pretty fun, and it's perfect for families to kind of grab on to each of the tubes and get lifted up and have fun. Here we are on a second concierge. Most days, everything's booked, especially as they're still trying to find stuff. Teawa is the fearless river. That's the crazy river is what we ended up calling it. The names mean very little to us on the first time through. We ended up calling things the green slide, the blue slide, the yellow slide. This is bamboo. Having been in the park when there was thunderstorms, there is enough cover everywhere for everyone. That way they can keep you spending money on food and drink. In the center of this complex, you can see the rafts being taken up to the top so you don't have to carry them. And with the Tapu Tapu, there's also less of a waiting than you would normally find in a water park. It's a wonderful thing. However, you do need to be prepared for a lot of quick step climbing. It's not just take one step and wait 10 minutes. It's kind of run up 5 flights of stairs, then wait 5 minutes, then ride the slide. We like that the thrilling rides, the family rides, we could go on with the kids so they would be less afraid. The yellow slide kind of twists and turns. The green slide is more of goes up those walls and you kind of slide back and forth. That is the less intense of the two, what we would call wall slides. Right now we're almost halfway around the park. There appears to be a cut through the mountain eventually. It has not opened yet. They're still working several places throughout the park, and that cut through, if it is one, would be very helpful, but it's not open yet. Here we are coming up on more of those misters that are working. It's refreshing, and here's some cute frogs that light up. This is another view of the crazy Fearless River. The green slide and the yellow slide we saw are the Maku and the Puihi. Puihi is the green one. Maku we did. It's a good slide to warm up the whole family, because the slide, the container will, the raft will hold 5 or 6 people. This slide complex, you can note the tubes are for 2 people, or 1 person could go in the 2-person tube. There are 4 slides. They have to be carried up for some reason, the last 2 flights of stairs. But my kids that are 9 and 11 were able to do it no problem. They actually rode all 4 of those slides in less than 20 minutes by getting here at park opening. And of course they were running up the stairs. Also back where we were is the entrance to the Crazy River, and that is where we like to say, because they were between a lot of the slide complexes. Straight ahead is the Punga Racers, the 4-slide complex. The 2 slides on the center in the middle are for children. The 2 on the outside are only for adults. They cycle through pretty quickly. They have those nice mats that you can see him loading onto the conveyor belt right there. They have handles, and you really feel like you are racing. The tubes are very tight though. You can kind of see that at the top. I didn't get stuck. I wouldn't worry about it, but it is something to be aware of if you're afraid of tight spaces. Coming up to the Aqua Coaster, which is amazing. Here's another bar that's pretty ubiquitous with Universal. All 4 of these slides are fun. They spin you around pretty good. What I was able to find was there are a lot of family bathrooms. The sex, male, female bathrooms were actually harder to find than the family ones. Those 4-slide complex is the Tinawa tubes. As you can see, there's a 20-minute return time. What you would do is touch your tapu tapu there, get a return time. Then when it says 5 minutes or less, you can come back and ride. That may change as they get the system working better, but we were able to find that once it said 5 minutes, they would let us go on the slide. Nice little detail alligator. I spoke about the cut through the mountain. This path to nowhere right now has guards watching it and some barriers. But we'll go up to the Krakatoa Aqua Coaster.
No, that's no more right now. Let's go. Bye now. Oh, you can go by now.
As long as you get here during get here during the early entry. We were able to ride it 2 to 3 times every morning. Right now it's ride now, but the line I would guess is probably 45 minutes long. The ride on the Aqua Coaster is amazing. It actually accelerates up the hills because of magnets pulling you up the hills. You are able to get a little bit of air, kind of that floaty feeling in your belly when you do it. It's a wonderful ride. Here's another restaurant. Straight ahead is Runamukka Reef. It is for children 48 inches and under. There are 3 areas with lockers, with changing areas and everything. This is one of them. What we found was if we wanted to rent a locker, it was just as good to rent premium seating. But we were able to leave our stuff on our chair because it was fine. This area 2 days ago was wide open. There was work being done on these cabanas. You could still see the sand washed out over the path. There's a lot of landscaping left unfinished. There needs to be mulch put down. The areas that aren't mulched are washing onto the walkways and into the rivers. So you'll see mulch places where you wouldn't normally see it. little Easter Island themed lights throughout the park. The park closes at 8 tonight, so I'm pretty much in a hurry to get through everything before they throw me out. But I think once it is open later, you'll be able to see it'll be really beautiful. Up straight ahead is the whale slide. We just called it the blue slide. Also, before we get there, here's a little Universal photo booth where it'll take a selfie for you. This blue slide throws you up one wall, down a hill, then up another hill. It is much more intimidating looking than it really is. I would highly recommend it. The more people you get on the raft, the better. It's ride now, but I didn't wear my bathing suit, so we're not going to do that. The green slide is another family large raft where the whole family can get involved, and it is much less intimidating than the blue slide. Right here is the actual lazy river. You'll usually see people grabbing their tubes right from the river as opposed to, getting them from a central location. At the bottom of the blue slide is a photo opportunity, but I don't know if it's actually taking pictures because we were never able to find the Universal photo people. But you can see around each of the slide complexes there's these little hidden chair areas where you don't feel the crush of the 6,000 plus people that could be in the park. Again, this slide complex features rafts that you do not have to carry at all. They put them up for you, take them up to the top, and show you which seats to sit on. When you come to those wall slides, it's actually not too bad to go backwards because you can't see what's going on. We are going back towards Runnamucka Reef, the area for 48 inches or smaller.
Why? Yeah, it's a cut way.
They still need to dial in some of these sprayers for the sidewalk. Some are really going and some barely go at all. But Runnamucka Reef is beautiful colors. Slides just big enough for toddlers to probably 6-year-olds. My kids did it and they were a little bored, and they were also over 48 inches, so some of the guards would let them down and some wouldn't. It's just still trying to see what rides are the best. This is Tiki Reef, even smaller. This is for your swim diaper set. The park does feature its own refillable mug system, which is good on ices as well, which is actually really nice on summer days. We're going across another bridge on the lazy river. This is the much ballyhooed Tapu Tapu point where you can see that you could get the tikis to spit on the riders if there were any. However, as of this time, there's probably only 4 or 5 of these interactive stations around the park, and not even all of those work. Let's see. There we go. So if somebody was there, we'd be spitting on them. As you can see, the volcano is the centerpiece of the park. Everything lays out around it, and it is breathtaking. However, the 3 slides that are in that complex all feature drop floors, so not every single person is going to want to use them. However, yesterday early afternoon, there was a 280-minute wait for that drop slide. The Tapu's work that you can reserve one ride and go on anything else that says ride now. Those are always your wave pools, always your lazy rivers, and sometimes other slides. The complex with the 4 on the 2-person body slide, 2-person rafts, those are usually ride now. The most we ever saw wait for those was 20 minutes. This restaurant here has an Asian theme, you could tell by the sails. Dancing Dragons. It's also a bar. All the bars have food, all the restaurants have drinks. On the left, we're coming up on the largest food court. This was packed during the rainstorm we were here during, but did not appear to be jam-packed where people were losing patience or hanging off the rails trying to get in away from the rain. For the amount of people we had that day, I would guess about 4,000. Everybody was unable to get under cover and able pretty much to eat and get back to their day. Here's another photo opportunity. This one we took a picture but never redeemed. This is Coal Reef. Here is another gift shop on the right. Plenty of places to replace forgotten sunscreen. Here's your My Universal photos. Looks like a temporary kiosk at this point. And this is still that food court, the seating. Note the thatched roofs. It definitely has that authentic South Seas feeling to it. However, it'll feel a lot more like that once the landscape becomes lush and fills in. Now this is back to the beginning. This is where we started. There is photography opportunities all throughout on the way in. But as this is where we started, this is where we'll finish. This is Pixie Mikey saying thank you and have a great day.